Hi, my name's Cheri. Welcome to my stamping studio. It's been a couple of days for me. Not as in a couple of days since I've last been with you, but it's just been a couple of days. For whatever reason, they're doing some kind of work near us and the power lines keep getting hit. And so we've had 2 full days without any electricity. It comes back on in the evenings, but during the day, it's just all of a sudden it goes out. So I'm hoping that today we can have a full entire day in the 21st century, although it is the year 2020, so it is what it is. But I had a Zoom class with my downline last night. We actually did my annual catalog try it class via Zoom. If you're part of my team, then you get to do my classes for free. So we were doing that, and you know, it's kind of hard to do a Zoom from your home when you have no power. So I went over to one of my other downline's house, and then a couple of us did it from there, which then had problems of its own because we had too many laptops too close together doing Zoom. But as I've gone on to do things this morning, I took some of her stuff here and she has some of my stuff there. So every time I start to do something, I find something that I left there or something that I took of hers. So, you know, it's just one of those frustrating mornings because, you know, it's 2020. I just chalk it up to that. So I have a really, really pretty card for you, and I will show it to you in just a random catalog that I have here. Luckily, I have lots of them because I don't have mine. But first, I wanted to remind you about the August to December holiday mini catalog, and it will start on August 4th. And I have a try it class coming up for it. You could do it free if you're part of my team. We do them via Zoom, or, you know, back in former times, we did them live together. But this is one that we won't do it in the class because you only get to see them if you're in the class. But this is one where I took the template from one of the templates that I used in the past class, in the annual catalog class, and it was a bookmark template. So you do 10 cards. They're all focused on the paper. So there's 10 new papers in this catalog. And then every card has a new ribbon and new embellishment. Usually, like this one would have new punches. It actually has 2 new papers. And then you provide the stamps and punches to add your sentiments to the cards. Not all of the cards even need sentiments. So signups for that, I wanted to remind you, will end on August 2nd, so I can order everything when this catalog goes live. So you can go to my website to sign up for that. It's one of my favorite classes that I do all year. It's a ton of fun. And it's called a try it class because you get to try all of the papers, all of the embellishments. You get to try everything in the catalog. So for this card, we're going back to the annual catalog, and we're going to do the Peony Garden Suite. You may have seen this card. I posted it a couple of days ago, and I did not use the builder dies. So I used the priced Peony stamp set. Today I'm not using any piece of the stamp set. So you could get this and just get the dies if you just want to build the flower, but it's a beautiful bundle together. So I wanted to make sure that you saw it. I am going to use some more of this dyed magenta ribbon that I've made, and it's part of my thank you gift in July. Last night I kept saying the wrong month. So, you know, I don't even know what month it is, but I'm pretty sure it's July. So this is still my free gift. You get free ink spots, free ribbon, and then if you spend a certain amount, you can also get one of these free little mini trimmers. And this is my July special. So make sure you check those out. So you may have seen the Peony Garden Suite and then saw this flower here and thought, well, that just looks like far too much work. I'm not going to do it. Because in the past, some of our dies like that have been far too much work even for me. But they're really pretty. You can see them here. So what I did, I didn't want to be trapped by the colors of the paper. It's beautiful paper. It's a beautiful suite. But I wanted to, like, these peonies are just beautiful. But I know they come in all colors of the rainbow. So I went to Google and I just did an image search for peonies, and I will put it on my blog. So you can go over to my blog and look at the picture that I actually used for inspiration because I wanted a bright summer colored peony. So I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. And you are just going to be shocked, like incredibly shocked on how simple this peony is to put together. So I've got these 4 pieces, and that's all it takes to make the actual flower. And then I'm going to use 2 dies to make the leaves, and then this little centerpiece. And when I made mine, because I wasn't sure what colors I was going to do, I ran it through the leaves and flowers separate. I'm going to see if I can fit them all on here at once. And we're not that far away from getting our. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. And you are just going to be shocked, like incredibly shocked on how simple this peony is to put together. So I've got these 4 pieces, and that's all it takes to make the actual flower. And then I'm gonna use 2 dies to make the leaves, and then this little centerpiece. And when I made mine, because I wasn't sure what colors I was gonna do, I ran it through the leaves and flowers separate. I'm gonna see if I can fit them all on here at once. And we're not that far away from getting our new machine, which I cannot wait. So if you buy your new machine through me, then you will also get to take some free classes, and I'll have those going through the rest of the year once you get your machine. And I'll have some specials on some dies. They'll all be online to teach you how to use it, and just have some fun cards doing some fun stuff with it. So I'm just gonna put these on here. You just need 1 each. Good, I thought maybe I cut that the wrong size. Because you know 2020, I'm just gonna blame everything on the year 2020. No, it's not gonna fit all at once, so we'll do it in 2. I couldn't remember how much room they took up. This is magenta and then daffodil. It just takes 1 pass. So we'll roll those through once. You don't need any more than once. Just knock all those off for now. And I'm just gonna throw these up here. And these just get rolled through once. And then, I know you've seen the picture of my card. I wanna make the frame, and I'm gonna use the Ornate Garden frames, which are in the annual catalog. They've been out since spring. Those all came out on their own. But I don't want to have holes in my frame. I want the card to look a little bit more substantial because this flower is substantial. So I have got a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I have just folded it in half. So I'm gonna lay my frame on here. And then when you do this, you don't wanna go speed bump. So lay your frame on and then go catty corner with it, because you don't wanna hear any giant kerplunk when you go through your machine. And it does take just a tad more pressure because it's 2 pieces of paper, but not bad. And then it's going to give you 2 frames. So one of them is going to have the holes. So gently pry it apart. So this top one's going to lose all of its pieces. And the second one's going to keep 98% of them. So you can see this one, I'll just save to use for something else. So now I've already got 2. And then this one has them all. And they're, for the most part, they're stuck. They don't come off. I've had the one I'm using sitting on my table since Ornate Garden Frames came out. So since like April. And they're all still intact. So the sample that you're going to see at the end, like they're on there, they're pressed on there. But it just is a different look. The paper would show through, and I just liked, this looked a little bit more vintage to me, and my grandmother grew peonies. So it just reminds me of my grandma. So I was going kind of a vintage look. Now, you may have seen, well, for one, you've seen peonies, and you know they're kind of wrinkly. They're all fluffy. So I am going to take our world map paper, because I don't want to spend all my time fluffing them. So you can see these have slits in them. So I'm going to lay them in here, and I'm going to do some of them upside down and some of them right side up. So we need to get our 4 pieces of the flower. We'll do those 2. 1 up, 1 down, and then of the 2 others, 1 up, 1 down. I'm saying it as I'm talking and doing them wrong. And then I'm going to throw my leaves in here as well. And it doesn't matter so much for those because those things are super tiny. And then just put those in here and roll those through. And then we don't have to worry about wrinkling them all up because they're going to be wrinkled on there. This will wrinkle them for us and give us that peony, fluffy, like curly look. See? And because we've done it different directions, some of them will go in and some will go out. Okay, now we're gonna take the peony that you're gonna see, that's the real one in my picture, was a yellow and a bright pink. So I'm gonna go with magenta to give us the pink. I have a sponge dauber. And you can see this little split here. Just gently separate it. I don't wanna cover it all up because I definitely want the yellow to show through. And of course, these two smaller pieces are the center of the flower. And on the one I saw, more of the pink was towards the center. So I will go a little bit heavier on these center pieces and then leave the outsides just a little bit more. And you want to make sure that you get a little bit on the back because we're going to roll those up. So just lightly put it on there. The nice thing about having it already gone through here is that you can see how the sponge dauber just hits the raised portions. And just get my edges again. Get the bottom of this. This is the center, so I'm going to give it the most amount of pink right there. And then I'm going to do the same with this little pink part, which is pink on pink, so it's just going to make those little tips just a little bit darker. And we'll do the same thing with the green. I have Granny Apple, which is the same color of the cardstock. So it's just going to give a little tone on tone highlighting. And because these are a little bit confusing to me, I'll be honest, I'm not sure which side I'm going to use until I lay them on the table. So I'm just going to do both sides until I figure out which side is the direction I want to go, because it depends on where you kind of lay them. They can go either direction, especially since we put them through here. It takes away any of those kerplunky lines. But then I do want these to be nice and dark. So they go, this one goes, see what I mean? It's like a little bit of a puzzle. It's a puzzle time. This is what happened to me before, and I was like, I colored the wrong side. Here we go. So it goes like this. So because I want these to be darker, I just laid them on here and just pressed them on. I'll let that sit a second. I'm going to use my take your pick tool to pick it up. I'll grab this one. And it goes like this. So get those nice and dark green. And I'm going to work with a white piece of cardstock here in a second. Glue dot on the end of my take your pick tool. So I don't want to get green on my fingers right before I go to touch my white cardstock. So I'm going to slide those off. And y'all wonder how my table gets dirty. So now to slide this together, again, you're just going to be amazed if you haven't seen how these go together. So you start with the smallest one, which is this one. And they just slide into each other. So slide in. Don't pull it back out like I just did. And then when you have it lined up back here on the back, you can see here and see here. You'll know when it's right because they match. So just take a tiny piece of seal. And just press them together, just like that. So now we've got our first little piece. Now you go to the next size up, slide it together because it is a little, once you put them through the the folder, it's a little bit trickier to tell which side is right side up, but this will tell you. So just slide this down here, because if they're not matched up, then they're backwards. So pull this down here, and you can see it's going to match up. So just go ahead and put your seal on here. Just takes a tiny bit just to hold it together. Pull that down. You can see how they're gonna just another little puzzle. Slide those in, hook those together. I told you it's easy. And then on this one, because you know it's the last one, I just went ahead and put a tiny bit of steel right here. And this one's super easy. You just stick this in here. Flip it around. And again, it will match up. So just slide it down. See how they match? Slide it down and pinch them together. And it's done. So then to give it the life that a peony has, just start taking these and kind of bend them. That's why we wanted color on both sides of the paper. And because we've already put this through the folder, they bend even easier because it's already kind of worked the paper for us a little bit. So just bend those. You can bend it a whole lot, bend it a little. It's all up to you. Get it however you want it to look. And you can see because this old world matte paper kind of lets you squish it down. So then I have our little frame. I'm going to put it about right here. And once it's stuck, I can go ahead and bend it a little bit more if I want. And take my pink centerpiece. And hold that piece up. Just slide that in there. And again, I want to fold those up so they're not all straight because you don't want it to look like paper. And then get my leaves. Now we have to remember which one goes with which again. I'm sure people who like puzzles look at this and they're like, it goes like that. I'm not a fan of puzzles. Here we go. So once you have one, the other one's easier because you know they match up. Just put a little bit of seal there. And you can see how much darker it is and how much nicer it is when you press it on the pad, and it's dry now. So I'm gonna put a little bit of seal here. I still haven't mastered the angle that I need to be at on camera to use these. Sometimes I really haven't. I think I've got it. And then the next video I do, I'm like, yeah, you didn't have that. You just told yourself you did. When I use it regular, there's no issue at all. And so then that one goes here. Stick this in here. Isn't that pretty? And you can go back if you feel like someplace doesn't have enough pink. And you can kind of add some because now you know the flower is where it's going to be. Then here's the dyed magenta tulle. That's part of my special this month. And I have videos on how to do it yourself because I do use the ink refill and I just do whole spools at once. So I've been doing the in colors. So I just have this little loop here. Just make it like a little rabbit ears. So you've doubled over. Just grab that little bit in there. Lift this up. Put some seal here. Grab this and kind of keep it so it does, so they're not laying on top of each other. So they're more like that. And then just smash those in there. Reminds me of a Mother's Day corsage, kind of. It would make a pretty Mother's Day card. So now I just have another piece of white cardstock. Hopefully I don't have any ink anywhere on my hands. And then this card could really, it could be a birthday, it could be Mother's Day, it could be a bridal shower, it could be any kind of occasion. It could be first day of a new job, it could be going Rushing a sorority. So I pulled out the Let's Celebrate You. It's from the Sunflower, the new Sunflower set. Because that way I can have it on hand for whatever. Somebody on my team does something amazing. Could be just a pretty bright and cheery card. So all year round you could send it, even in the depths of winter. You could send it. Everybody would like to get a pretty flower card like this anytime. I'm going to take some dimensionals. Add 4 of them. And I really like the way that this doesn't have the holes in the frame. The holes would be okay, but it just adds a little bit more, I think, of the stability, and it looks a little bit more substantial. So there you go. Here's my other one. And like I said, I will put the picture of the real flower that I used for the color inspiration on my blog. If you don't like the way these are joining, like that one's not just, it's just not doing it for me. Just take a tiny piece of seal. And just get it to go where you want it to go. That's better. Thought about adding some jewels, but then I didn't really want it. Like, it's one of those cards that could have a little bit more, but I kind of liked the less is more. It's not like there's not a lot going on, but I hope you like it. I hope you're impressed with how easy the flower is. This one I did work with a little bit more to get the petals to stand up the way I liked them. Super easy, super fun bundle. I hope you take a look at it and have a great day. Bye.